He grew up rich, and you grew up, let's just say, not so well off. You both stayed in the same town, but he lived on the other side of town. You both played pee-wee football. You were about the same size, both played quarterback, and both were pretty good, but he was just a little better. His father owned 2 stores and a construction business. You moved around a lot. He grew up in the same house he was born in. His parents stayed together. Like I said, you both played quarterback in pee-wee football, but he was a little better because his parents could afford camps and provide the proper resources, better clothes, better gear, private coaching sessions, and workouts in the big backyard they owned. By the time you got to high school, you both got your licenses and were still playing football. Of course, he started ahead of you, and you were the backup because he was just a little better, and again, he had access to more resources. You both got your permits and started driving. You still catching the bus. Maybe your mom or dad helped you buy an old car, and you had to work all summer to get it. His parents bought him a brand new one because they had the money. It's not his fault. His parents simply had their lives together. He saw different things growing up. He went on vacations. He always had the newest clothes. He always seemed to have the prettiest girlfriends. You did your best to stay clean and put together, and your parents did what they could, but he always had that advantage. Later in life, you both graduate. Maybe you go to community college or whatever college you can afford. He graduates with the same grades, or maybe slightly better grades, because he had tutors and resources available to him. His parents could afford to help him study computers, academics, and everything else a child needs to excel. So he goes to a major 4-year university. Maybe not Stanford or an Ivy League school, but a respected university. You get a scholarship or financial aid. His parents pay the tuition. Maybe he was a top football recruit. Maybe coaches came to watch him because his parents had connections and could get people to pay attention. You've known him your whole life. You spent time at his house. He had the pool in the backyard, the finished basement, and all the things you wished you had. Then you both get older and graduate. Years later, you reconnect and ask each other how life has been. You're still cool. You've always been cool. He works for a major law firm, or maybe he runs one of his father's businesses. Either way, his father had resources and connections.
It's been a long time, man.
His dad makes a few calls, talks to a friend, and suddenly he's in a high-paying position. Maybe he's making $120,000 to $140,000 a year. You graduated too. Maybe you got a degree and started in a warehouse, making $50,000, $60,000, or even $70,000 a year. But he's always ahead of you. And that's what happens when people grow up with resources and support. Now, there's nothing wrong with hard work. Not everyone is born with advantages. But when people are born into stable households, with money, guidance, and opportunities, they're usually going to have an easier path. Of course, there are exceptions. Some people inherit everything and still ruin their lives. They get involved with drugs, make terrible decisions, and throw away opportunities. But most don't. They still have an advantage. People love saying, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. That's not entirely true. His 24 hours and your 24 hours are very different. He had time to attend football camps, summer camps, and enrichment programs. When he was 16, his father already had a job lined up for him. He didn't need to worry about money because his parents provided what he needed. He could go to prom, take Spanish lessons, learn new skills, and explore opportunities. He thought differently because he lived differently. Meanwhile, you were trying to figure out transportation, money, school, and work all at the same time. That's what happens when you grow up poor or financially unstable. These people don't really have the same 24 hours as you. You worked 2 jobs, went to school, caught the bus, attended community college before transferring, and stretched every dollar. Sometimes you had to hustle. Sometimes you had to do things you didn't want to do just to survive. It's 2 completely different lives. Then later in life, when you reconnect, you see how successful he's become. He always had the proper resources. His father already had a job waiting for him after graduation. For many wealthy families, the degree is just a formality. The path was already mapped out long before graduation day. Still, keep your head down and keep grinding. Life isn't fair. It never has been. These circumstances you're born into matter. The goal is to build something better so the next generation, your kids, nieces, nephews, and family members don't have to start where you started. Stay diligent, because the truth is simple. If your parents have money, resources, stability, and connections, you're usually going to do better than kids who don't. Everything is laid out for you. College is paid for, opportunities are available, mentors are everywhere. When you grow up poor, everything is harder. You have to catch the bus. You have to work while studying. You have to worry about bills. Meanwhile, someone else only has to focus on school because their parents already handled the rest. That's an advantage. You can even see it in professional sports. Many athletes today are second and third generation athletes. Their parents played professionally. Their families own businesses. They've been around elite coaching and training their entire lives. Look at the Manning family. Look at Steph Curry. His father played in the NBA. They started ahead because they were born into those environments. The same applies to business. Look at people like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. They were intelligent, absolutely, but they also had access to resources, support, education, and opportunities many people never had. Jeff Bezos' parents reportedly invested a significant amount of money into Amazon when it was just starting. That's a luxury most people don't have. The point isn't that successful people don't work hard. The point is that advantages matter. People who grow up with support systems have more time to experiment, fail, learn, and build. When you're struggling to pay bills, keep a car running, and survive day to day, it's difficult to focus on long-term opportunities. That's reality. I believe every community could do a better job investing in its young people. Imagine if every family member pitched in for a teenager's future. Instead of spending money just on parties, everyone contributes toward a business, a trade, college, or an investment account. Help them start a lawn care business. Help them buy equipment. Help them advertise. Use your connections to help them get customers. That's how wealth and opportunity are built across generations. Because when you're a parent with connections, you can open doors. You can introduce your child to opportunities earlier than most people ever get. That's a huge advantage. And if you didn't have that growing up, maybe you can provide it for someone else. A child, a niece, a nephew, a little cousin, a young person who needs guidance. Break the cycle, because that's how generational change happens. And eventually, people naturally drift apart. Your wealthy friend may still like you. He may still visit the neighborhood, but his life trajectory is completely different, and it always has been. So get your life together. Stop believing every motivational speaker on the internet. A lot of them already had money, support, sponsors, or connections long before they started giving advice. Some are selling a dream. Success isn't always as simple as change your mindset. Mindset matters, but so do capital, networks, opportunities, timing, and resources. Many influencers make it sound easy because they started miles ahead of where most people begin. That's reality. So stop comparing yourself. Keep your routines. Drink your coffee. Go to work. Keep building. Enjoy life where you can, because social media is often an illusion. The people you see online rarely look as successful in real life as they do on Instagram. Filters, editing, rented lifestyles, it happens all the time. As I sit here drinking my coffee, I think about how crazy life really is. Some people start the race halfway to the finish line. Others start with obstacles in every direction. That's just reality. Very few people truly start with nothing and become massively successful. It happens, but it's rare. You can usually tell who has really struggled by the way they talk and the way they see the world. At the end of the day, All you can do is keep moving forward. Build what you can, help the next generation, and understand that life isn't always about catching the people ahead of you. Sometimes it's about making sure the people who come after you start farther ahead than you did. And brothers, remember, their 24 hours is not your 24 hours.